It's called bucciolati. It's an Italian dish that I grew up eating. I know my mom has made it. My grandfather made it all the time. My grandmother made it all the time. My family's all from Sicily. So, it's just a thing that I grew up eating. It's really delicious and not a thing a lot of non-Italians know about. My grandparents are both first generation American. I think they came over from Sicily when they were very young. They both speak fluent Italian, or my grandfather has passed, but my grandmother speaks fluent Italian and refused to teach my mother and her 3 sisters and 1 brother Italian. So they'd talk about them at the dinner table all the time in Italian, which used to wig my mom out. None of us actually look that much Italian. And I asked my grandmother about this. And I said, Nani, so, we're all from Sicily, right? Like, Papa, you're from Sicily, Papa's from Sicily? She said, yeah. And I said, well, how come all of us are, my aunts are blonde and I have green eyes? And she goes, well, I know the Normans invaded Italy, so maybe they, raped our ancestors or something. Which I really liked that story. In my family, wine and cooking always goes hand in hand. In fact, wine and everything goes hand in hand. I remember when I was little, my mom used to let me knead the dough. That was my favorite part. And then she would do it right after me because I didn't do a very good job. My grandfather loved Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin. I was going to say James Dean. That's not the same person. We used to, when we would go driving around in his Cadillac, because he would take us bowling with him, because he liked bowling and he liked gin rummy. He would actually have that song, when the moon hits her eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore, all the time. Because my grandfather liked to fulfill stereotypes. I want to know more. And my grandmother, I don't know if this is an Italian thing or a grandmother thing or what, but every time we would go to Florida, she would send me home with a suitcase full of just crap, of just knickknacks and stuff she had laying around, or old books, stuff my mom didn't want to take because she knew it was going to just sit on a shelf and take the space in our house. But I was so excited because it was whatever. Anyway, that was a big, and actually my mom is the same way now. She'd never admit it, but every time I go to her place for dinner or something like that, she tries to unload all of her old crap on me because she thinks I need it. This was one of those dishes that when I found out that not every single person had at every holiday, it really kind of blew my mind. Because this is my mom's go-to, Christmas, Thanksgiving, somebody's birthday, barbecue. This is her go-to thing. It's also traditional, I'll have you know, in the Angoli family to eat while you cook. And because really the onions are the only thing that is edible, I mean, really what choice did I have? I feel like my mom cuts slits into it. Do I need to, before I put it in the oven, do I need to cut slits in the top of it? So I just had to put it in the oven and we're done. Food is important to Italians because it's the early generations that came here. It was a piece of their homeland to give to bring with them to the new country.